o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. Oh, oh, what are
I
you
love that song.
waiting for? I'm trying to find out who made it. So I'm gonna have to put my Shazam on so we can get the full, lyrics. But welcome to the eighth episode. Ooh, these braces, child, let me just tell you, they didn't tighten them up, and I'm like, Anywho, welcome to the eighth episode of So. Do you think you can do hair? It is me, your homegirl Ladosha, Wright, aka Key Lolo. And then right over here, y'all know who it is, right? It is the one and only Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle in sunny California. I can tell by the way that sun is just glistening on that skin. What's that weather like in California?
Well, it rained all weekend.
Yay! Hateration. So it rained, but
It
it
did
looks
rain.
like it's pretty nice.
It's
It was
gorgeous
pretty.
now. Yeah.
Nah, it's not gorgeous here. It's still kind of cloudy, but that's Cleveland. It's the springtime, so they say it's April Fool's Day today. It's officially, so we should be full of jokes. But if you want to watch some of the funniest things happening in the hair world, you can join us back tonight at 6 o'clock, and we're gonna highlight April Fools and talk about some funny videos. I'll have 5 jokes, some riddles, just to kind of, honor April Fool's Day. But today we have a wonderful lineup here, and cosmetology and barber students, also your nail techs and estheticians. You guys are going to love this one because this is the one that I definitely want some help on. And it's all about artificial intelligence, AI. Then, of course, we have the good old fashioned social media. And then, of course, we have websites. And so we're in the beauty industry. And, let me just say this. I remember maybe about 27 years ago, right? This is right when I finished cosmetology school. And social media was like just starting to like kind of, you know, get going, okay? And then it got going, and I went to the IBS hair show in New York, and there were some people there behind the chair in particular, and they were talking about the internet, the social media. I'm sorry, social media. And I remember walking past the booth like, that is not for us. I don't even know why they here talking about some social media, because the barber and beauty industry is one of the only jobs. It's one of the last of the Mohicans in the careers where we get to touch people, So I don't really foresee our people, using those social media because a computer cannot do hair. Boy, was I wrong and terribly arrogant. So that is what the eighth episode is all about, is this technology by way of AI and social media and websites. So let's start off. This podcast, of course, is dedicated to barbering and cosmetology students. And I know a lot of today's technicians are definitely using social media, but I see some things. I don't know about AI, we'll get into that, but let's start off with my attitude of I mean humans, I mean hair. What what's the attitude? Because there are other professionals who are a little reluctant about technology, and some just out of date. So you got two different, school of thoughts there. But let's start off, because you will have some students who may be like me, on one end, like, I don't think I'm gonna need that. And then number two, you will have some people on the other end of the spectrum who are just like out of the loop. So let's start off, let's get our students, into the mindset of people like a Ladosha who just don't like change and don't believe this thing called technology. So let's start off with that one, and then we got some more stuff as we go along.
Well, you do it anyway. You just do it in the realms of cosmetology, right? You do it anyway. So,
Now, like, what do you mean? What do you
well,
mean?
well,
Like I
you
do?
improve your classes, you improve your skills, you improve new color techniques, or your new color products, or your new moisturizing products, or a new shampoo technology, whatever the case may be. So you do, or you're used to change. You're
Right,
very much used to it.
right.
It's just that I think what happens is that creatives who are used to being in a bubble in terms of cosmetology. Anything outside that goes into something that you have to think and has kind of like separated from these little things called, hands. But you do it anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. You just have to transfer the energy to be open to being able to step it up or go outside or go wide, which means go into basically stay in your field, but use other industries to enhance what you do. So you
Mm.
are accustomed to learning and changing and shifting, and you're used to that, but you have to make sure that your business and your skill set or your styling and your clients, you're already evolving. And I think that just to open up your mind to go outside of the cosmetology industry in order to make your practice and your clinic, your clinic practice, your technical practice, make it easier.
Mm.
Apps have done that, websites have done that, social media has done that already.
But
But I think
I think what I'm also I don't know what they're teaching the younger people in the schools
mm,
today, but just this whole notion there is, I still hear it. I do go to a lot of cosmetology schools and barber schools to do presentations, but there still is a certain air of I don't want to say arrogance, but not us, because we are one of the industries where we still, get to touch people. So let's talk about the touching, the tactile, the physical of, putting on color where computers can't do things. So how do students tote that line between or merge? Maybe you're going to have to or cross, intersect, touching and technology. How do we grapple with that when we're so behind the chair and our careers? We got to, we've already talked about communication, we've talked about attire. So where does that? How does that technology, overlap when we touch people so much and we're physically mixing and all of that good stuff?
well, you have Tuesday through Saturday, guys. And on Monday, Sunday and Monday, that is the days where you intersect all of the other soft industries that can make your Tuesday through Saturday a lot easier. So if
Hmm.
you devote one day to understand that, of course, the massaging, the facial, barbering, or any
Polishing nails.
other, right, nail techs, AI, or artificial intelligence is going to intersect because it may not be on the client to one-on-one basis, but it will intersect. And those are the days, your Sunday and Monday, while you guys are off, can be able to use those other industries to make your Tuesday through Saturday so much better, right?
So when the students go to look into, the three, artificial intelligence, social media, and of course their website, let's help them out. Where do they begin with their search? And of course that's individually, and do they overlap? At some point, does the artificial intelligence mesh in with the social media, intertwines then, with the websites? So where do students go on that Monday or something, maybe even that Sunday, where they're just kind of chilling? Because I watch them and they consume a lot of social media, but I don't see them actually using the platform outside of posting a picture here or there and hitting a like button. And of course, just sharing funny stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when it time comes to of course, especially people who are starting their careers, let's say just graduating, they need to acquire clientele or get the word out, right? That
Right.
is when you post, do not render that level of engagement. So at that point, what you need to be doing is using the same technology. For instance, um, apps, scheduling, um, email marketing is still artificial way of sending messages to
Mm-hmm.
people. Okay. And so have an administrative day, which is Monday, to be
Mm.
able to um, see and learn. And especially in customer retention, you can send AI is what automatically gives you a birthday wish to all your clients if you log their birthday and you log their information in and you log their full. So AI allows you to do things on an automative, so you don't have to remember things. You don't have to remember people's appointments if you use AI, because AI is
Mm.
going to send you a notification. So it is important. And I know that people don't think about AI like that.
Mm.
Google is AI.
Mm.
Right. Go ahead.
Now, what I see is you have some people who are totally dependent on the app and they miss the human part because they'll say, well, the app, they'll blame a lot of the mistakes on the app. I see a lot of that, especially when people call me up and they're talking to me about them using, the apps, and they will admit that they feel like the app is maybe, or customers aren't using it right. So how do they mesh or enter again, put those two together if the app, because they're going to blame it on the technology, of course. So what do you say about those people who are like, I'm using the app and I got my style seat. I have my square appointment maker, and but and I got my Instagram where you can make appointments on Instagram, but I still don't see the people like coming in, and they not referring people. So I don't think AI and all that is really helping me like, Cheryl and Ladosha or other people say it could.
Hmm. But AI doesn't replace people. You can't
Hmm.
rely on it. Because one of the things that when we learn something new, guess what? You don't say, oh, now I have Instagram and then I have a different kind of clientele, so I don't do Facebook. So I don't do Facebook because I do Instagram. I don't do Instagram or Facebook or applications or apps. You need a physical appointment book, people. It's
Hmm.
see, it's all inclusive. You don't stop doing one.
I think the struggle is, and I hope cosmetology, barbering, all the students, and also, again, faculty and school owners, drop your questions in the chat if you're watching this post live. We're definitely going to answer those. But I think something about the communication is definitely a struggle,
Hmm.
because I think people don't want to seem like they're begging or nagging.
Hmm.
So, go into that because, I see it as a person who worked with interns a lot. And I have my own salon, and that is probably one of the biggest challenges, even for seasoned cosmetologists, is the communication of expressing, what they need. And just that feeling like I'm begging. I don't want to put on social media like I got appointments today because I want to look like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because that, competition checks and keeps checking, says KRS1. So they know that people are looking at their social media pages, but who wants to look like, I need a customer?
Okay. Well,
And then language to communicate,
right.
because a
Well,
lot of
well, well here,
cosmetologists, they don't
right,
want to do that.
right. But that's not social media at that point. That is the lack of understanding sales. And so once, and we've talked about that, and I think in most of our morning podcasts here on Mondays, is that students don't get sales skills, they don't get communication skills, because one of the things that we are inundated during between right now, ever since 2024 came, is that, for some reason, we don't see politicians as begging for our vote, right? But they are. Okay. And the key is for you to be able to highlight your skills, to be able to show them what you're offering. You're not begging. You're giving them an offer.
But they're
10%
not
off.
coming in. They're like, I posted or I called, and so they have this um uh I don't want to say
Right.
fear. I don't know what it is, but I do, see that. So if they'll be on their phones, but they don't, actually, do what you're talking
Right,
about.
right. Posting is announcements. Those are not, that is not social media doesn't sell, right? It only gets even in the language that you guys use in your posting, it's sales gives a customer a directive, a what you want them to do to contact you. Is posting, does it have send me a message for the first 10, or give them a clear directive? But postings only announce. And at the end of the day, where is your posting go? Because you have to remember, all social media platforms restrict you because
Hmm.
they now have a pay gate. All social media did not start with a pay gate. They just sent your stuff everywhere to all the friends and people who were connected to you. But now that Facebook has added a business section, which means ads. So same as Instagram. I think Facebook owns Instagram, right?
Yeah, I
And
believe so.
then of course TikTok and the same things. These are algorithms. You cannot rely on algorithms to sell your business. You have to understand the algorithm. Okay.
Hmm.
And so that is the same way as when you have that client in your chair, based on you just doing a good job, what makes you think the customer's coming back?
Hmm.
Even if you did them, right? So,
Right.
what do you say to that client right before they pay you and walk out of the door? Is going to be a determinant with them wanting to come back. Do most clients rebook before they leave? See, all
Okay.
my clients rebook before they leave.
And that's kind of like that tote, that fine line, just like we have here in this screen, because we feel like, well, they will just use the app. They can use the app to rebook. They could use the app to select off of the menu. They can use the app. And so I don't have to ask, or if I'm a little afraid to ask, then I'm going to rely on the app. And so, and even in my management style, like I don't like to kind of like, do that helicopter management. So we always kind of do like a 90-day review to go over. And then we also have a grid that we use to help, the stylist build. But I do find that communication of talking to the customer is not there, because they really feel like, well, they could just use the app to rebook.
Oh.
So I think the communication is kind of not there, because they feel like I could text her the app, or she could use the QR code. And now you have the new technology where you can, tap your phone
Right.
and share your business contact. So again, they have it, but it's actually, like I said, that intersectionality, or, where it crosses. I think that is a struggle, for licensed professionals.
Um, I know we all get nervous and pressured when something else new comes out. The key here is to always understand direct letters, notes, touch, call is so much more secure. You don't not do one because something else exists.
Aha.
They're
Ah,
only
I
they're
like
only a
that.
supporting cast. You don't leave without going on the app with the client before they walk out the door. You just make them book right there. You don't necessarily, just don't depend You have to be present in your business. This is not, you cannot forego a conversation, having, call me if you have some issues during the week, pick up the phone if you want to come in for a brusher up. I know you have that convention that you're going to. Just come on in. It's a courtesy of my, just talk.
Hmm. I like that one.
You
I,
don't, it doesn't replace anything. It never replaces it. What they always say, the moment you get a handwritten note and somebody wrote on that envelope, you open, that's the first thing you open.
yeah.
Because it's either somebody you know, it's either somebody who has a personal relationship with you, or somebody took the time out to write something. It's so refreshing that you open it. And
Hmm.
that's just the it, AI and website, it'll never replace the personal touch.
Mm. I think, the excitement about the technology is the belief that it's going to do something that you don't want to do. So people will. I mean, not that you
Whole
said
nother
that, I mean, I know that's a whole other subject, but I do, as I'm thinking about the people who struggle with it, and they beg for the technology. Like in the salon, we had a team meeting and they said, oh, we should be able to allow the clients to use the apps where they can make the appointment. And I'm not for the apps, and for that reason, because it does make people lazy. That's my opinion.
Oh,
And it
I
gets
would agree.
and
I would
there's so
definitely
much lost in communication,
agree.
because they always end up wanting to talk anyway. So
Mm.
even when they use the app, there is still some communication that has to take place that technology probably can't, or maybe technology can. So what are some of the ways that technology can, be that problem solver? Just, I'm just going to play devil's advocate for
Hmm.
those people who are really, really like, it's not about people. Like, they just like, I ain't a people person. I could do the work. I can cut the hair. I just really want them to come in. I just want to do what I got to do. And then, they have, it's kind of, I don't want to say nonchalant, but maybe it is nonchalant, or maybe it's not. So, what do you
Well,
say?
it's a level of fear.
It's still a level of
And I do believe that getting comfortable with talking, having a conversation, is so ironic that when you know, all we're doing on these platforms is talking. It's just that we don't have the fear based of having that person in front of them. You're texting, your instant your instant messaging, okay? You are communicating, you're tweeting, you're doing all of that. You're already doing that. The key here, I think, before they leave school, they're going to have to learn and be exposed to public speaking, and being able to understand that if your phone is uncharged, then you're not going to get a notification on the app. And if
Mm,
something goes wrong, you lose your phone. You're not going to get any notification. So the point is to have this 360 plan. Okay, print, jot it down, appointment book. Okay, and
so old fashioned.
then because at the end of the day, writing something does something different to your memory. It's a different part of your brain than being able to text something. And then what if somebody doesn't text you back? And then it's out of sight, out of mind. It's just a process. And then your phone is dead. And then this happens. And then the dog ate your phone. Whatever the case may be, the digital device and whatever goes on that digital device does not replace your fingers. It does not replace a voice, somebody hearing your voice. It doesn't replace any of that. And to make sure that you are a consummate communicator and person who is really involved, because at the end of the day, they don't expect to see your avatar when they show up. They plan to see you.
Okay.
Um, it's just making sure that you can use all of it at the same time, but it doesn't replace anything.
It doesn't replace anything. Okay, so you got to learn and be exposed to public speaking. So now we're kind of getting the gist of we're going to have to merge the two. But now we also know that with this technology comes a cost. You know, it's gonna be some money involved. So you said some things where it was like light bulb that just went off into my head. And so when we talk about using this technology and
Mhm.
and advancing it, like you said, on social media, they have these pay gates, and if you want more information, now you're having to pay. So what type of budget should one kind of set out aside, for advertisement, or budget to get more information about maybe their population, like analytical information? So some platforms you actually have to pay to get more access to use the technology. So let's talk a little bit about the cost. When should you not pay? And though every locale is different by way of the cost, but what's a good budget to start to pay for some of this by way of advertising? And then of course just using, let's say, Chat GPT or some of the other stuff. Like, let's talk about some money, because all this stuff ain't free. Okay, I mean, let's just keep it 100. I mean, like,
Well,
I
well,
have
well,
the apps for the make your posters, and like, how much money should be allocated?
well, number one, I think one of the number one tools that I think most of them are using, especially when they're doing flyers and whatever the case may be, is Canva, right?
I use Canva. Yes, yes,
Okay.
I use
So,
Canva.
right, that's AI. Okay.
Okay.
And but they're just presets, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Somebody thought of something to make a preset, and then they loaded the preset up to Canva, and Canva said, "Thank you, we love that one." And then everybody, once it gets passed, gets chosen 200 times, and then the person who created it gets paid. That's AI. Okay. My point is this. I'm going to just say something that and I believe business, salon business, clientele business should be taught in school. And I know it's not. However, but I'm going to challenge you guys on one thing. Advertising, it requires money.
Right, but
But
we're just in school, sure. Remember, we got this particular podcast is for the students, and this particular podcast is about using artificial intelligence, social media, and websites. And you're like, oh, it's gonna cost money. So here goes it, guys. Get your ink pens ready, or you can replay this after you watch it.
right,
I like this.
right. So advertising costs money. However, PR doesn't. So you have to figure out what you're trying to do. Are you trying to advertise? Or are you the alternative is public relations. It's PR.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising. Now, in other words, PR is an incentive, right? PR is a stunt. PR is a survey. PR is to get people engaged. PR is to get people's attention. Okay. If you're having a 2-for-1, that's promotions. Okay. But that doesn't cost anything. The
Okay.
moment that you want to maintain your customer base and you want to sell the fact that you are going to have a Mother's Day special, which is coming up, right? That's advertising. But advertising on social media is cheaper than going out and getting flyers. Okay.
Okay.
So when you outweigh the customer, let's say you want to just you can divide it up. Once again, here's the conversation. The conversation is I want to spend 25 cents on each person.
Okay.
And I got 60 clients. Okay, so do 25 cents times 60. Okay, but if you went to Staples and asked for 100 flyers, that's going to be $40. But if you don't want to spend $40, the key here is to know what you're trying to do
Before you spend the money.
right.
All right, guys. So don't just open up your your debit card or your Apple Pay and all of your cash apps and send this money through without a plan of exactly what you're trying to do, so you'll know how much to spend, how often to spend it. And of course, that's per the platform, because how much you spend with Canva on a yearly subscription is going to be totally different to how much you would spend for a Facebook ad. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. And let me just say this time, take 1 week of tips, $20, right?
Okay.
Okay. Then go get you a gift card. And then you match it. You got $20 in tips, and then you put some of your money as you got $40. Go get you a $40 gift card and go on all these sites and use your gift card for a
Wow.
try.
I like that. Let me get a big hand clap, because that is what the students are looking for. I love that's very, very, very realistic. Okay.
Okay, because the gift card has Visa. So you can go get about 6 trials. Use the same number. Before that, you know what I mean? Get
Right.
7-day trial, and then go do the same thing with your Facebook ads and whatever the case may be, and your Instagram. My point is that, but advertising on a 6-month yearly basis, advertising is a totally different machine. It sells your total business. It does not focus on one event. PR focuses on ponytails for Mother's Day, and then a free corsage, something that allows you to be able to soften up the conversation that you guys say, well, I don't talk. You actually
Hmm.
talk.
Right.
Everybody, every student talks. They talk on the phone. They talk but y'all talk. You
Mm.
just don't understand. No one has actually shifted the energy and made you have that sweet business talk that Joe Dudley used to always talk with Dudley Products. Have sex in your talk and talking. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
got to have some attractiveness, something that brings people in. But we talk every day. It's just
Mm.
unfortunate that the instructors in the cosmetology schools do not know how to transfer that in terms of business talk.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to show the clip of what I created for this conversation, just so people can kind of see, what's happening and how the beauty and barber world, can kind of can penetrate it and use it, like you said, per what the technology has to offer. And then, of course, guys, the reality is free is only going to get you but so far. So here is what I have put together, and we could take this conversation just a little bit further as we look at some of the examples in artificial technology using social media. And then, of course, we're going to talk about that internet before we wrap this up. So here's my little clip. Here we go. The ever evolving world of technology, from AI to social media and websites. Where does the barber and beauty industry fit in on the bigger scheme of things?
Our own image that are smart and intelligent goes back to antiquity.
Oh, can you bring it to me?
Is it possible that the dream of artificial intelligence has become reality?
When you look at this, what does it look like to you in 5 years from now?
If you're going to spend time looking at a screen, right, if you were going to do a video call anyway, then over time, I think it'll feel better to just teleport to a place and be there as a photorealistic version of yourself. I think that'll be pretty powerful.
The websites that Durable is creating right now are about 15 years in the past. If AI continues to advance, which it will.
Interestingly powerful. Join us for our 8th episode. See you in the chat. What do you think about that one?
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
Okay, so I was just getting ready to say, I'm going to highlight 3 things that they pointed out. So number 1, that trying to advance ourselves dates back to antiquity. Hit that one. Number 2, do you think the beauty and barber industry could use that avatar, that teleporting and all that stuff that Mr. Zuckerberg was talking about? And then last but not least, they said that the websites are 15 to 20 years past. Like, so websites are a little bit old, and they're trying to get those to catch up using some AI. So hit those 3 points of have we really been trying to use technology since antiquity, or it dates back to antiquity? And then number two, what's up with the avatar and the teleporting and the goggles? And then again, websites. So can you hit those three? Can you talk about that?
Well, when you watch Discovery Channel, you're watching National Geographics. You're watching archaeologists go back into what I call first world. The third world cannot figure out how the first world did anything. Okay.
We got Mr. Kofi Pasa and Rashida is in the chat. Peace, Kofi. Peace, Rashida. They said we gonna already say yes. We are here for the barber and cosmetology students, and Cheryl is just kicking the ballistics about dating back to antiquity.
Right. So, but technology is not futuristic, meaning it's not something that we haven't done before. It's something that this generation has not done before. And not the fact that nobody on the planet and out of your ancestors haven't done it before. Does that make sense? It's not.
Hold on. I gotta do this. Hold on.
What you talking about, Will?
You guys, I know students, you guys might be getting it, but I'm older. So what you talking about, Willis? Because I thought technology means that it's new and it's, and you're saying.
In fact, electric cars are easier to make than gas cars. So when we discovered gas cars, that actually was maybe new, but when you're talking about antiquity and you're already biodegradable, you have to realize that if life, nothing new under the sun, it just means that the generation that's alive now has not done what the prior generation has done.
Okay, I knew you were going to go somewhere with that. Nothing new is under the sun.
Right. And so technology, and when we hear technology, we think that the silent generation, no generation, BC, they think that it has not been done. It's so fresh. That is why the technology today is always trying to, then it looks back and it tries to figure out how, because AI now is going down into pyramids in places we can't go. So they're always trying to discover what had already happened.
Okay.
And so technology just allows us to do it in a new way. So technology is not so futuristic in terms of, it's never happened before. Because when you look at the story of Black Panther is based on a mineral, right? Or on a metal that is 5,000 years old. But if we just now discover it, okay, so are we technologically futuristic or has it already been here? So technology is the way I know the Western world says technology is almost like we're the shit, and but we're always rediscovering something that has already happened.
Yeah, so technology is necessarily not the future. Like I'm just typing that in the chat. That is something that we say that again. It is something.
It is something that this present generation is now discovering.
Okay,
that's basically what technology is. In terms of let's say if I were to make a permanent wave machine. Wow, how freaking original is that? But it will be futuristic of the way we used to do it in terms of our lifetime. And so it's a mixed bag. But as far as
it's funny, I get what you're saying, Willis, because it's like you're saying with this whole communication thing. We're using the AI to help like make appointments, to sell things, request more services, make referrals, cancel appointments. And in reality, we've already done that, and we're still doing it. It's just that the technology of
Yeah.
It's another. Okay. All right. Okay. I hope everybody is feeling really, really good about this topic. Again, you are watching the 8th episode of So You Think You Can Do Hair, specifically for your license, for your barbering and cosmetology, nail techs, and estheticians, students. This podcast is just for you. And we're just all about, artificial intelligence, of course, social media, and then we have our websites. So, Cheryl, what about the avatar and the teleporting? Because when I saw that part, I was like, man, I've been trying to come up with some hair stuff with those avatars, but I don't know the technology. And oh gosh, I see so much now that you've pretty much let us know that we're just using that technology is not the future. We truly are bringing something that is in the past to the present for us to use. So how can we use the goggles and teleporting and
Right. Well, I'll be honest.
or should we
That's called augmented reality.
augmented reality? Okay.
Or virtual reality.
There used to be a song. Have you ever heard of a group called Jamiroquai?
Yes.
And Jamiroquai had a song called Future, it was called Virtual Reality. And it's a bad song. It's very appropriate for what we're talking about. So virtual reality.
Right. And so that world is for you to be two places at once. So you have the biological you, and then you have your digital you.
Well, why we need a digital you?
Because the digital you can go places that I don't really want to go. So my digital can be, if let's just say, how many times have we been at a awards show? Ladosha, Wright, cannot be here. She had another commitment. So we're going to accept this award in her regard. So, but if I make a hologram, or I make a particular digital you, I can actually make a digital me and have me say, thank you, everyone. I wish I could be there, but I so appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody who was involved. I want to thank God first. And I want to, so thank you so much. And then you can have a little cute digital version of the award. Thank you. But the key here is that if you're into that kind of thing, but you can also have an avatar. Click on this. Hi, Miss Candy. I want to just thank you for coming by the salon today, but I just wanted to remind you of your appointment next week. And also remember, I used this shampoo, this shampoo, just in case you wanted to know and you wanted to buy some. You can reserve yours just talk to your client. If you don't want to talk to your client, because your digital you is not shy.
Oh, this is what I gotta say. That's the bomb. Oh, wow. I would not even think of something like that. And this is why this podcast is so important. So, students, I hope you are getting a lot of good advice, some good information. And don't forget to rewatch this and drop your questions in the chat about using AI, your social media. And as we wrap this up, let's get into them websites. So, websites are supposedly people like I don't use websites no more. So are websites played out like bell bottles and butterfly collars, or what's up with websites? Should we keep them or?
That's a very good question. Websites are like mortgages. If you're gonna have a home, it should be able to make money. It should generate it. Problem is that it's almost like a house. You have to tell people that you're there. So you have, your rent, and then of course you got a website. You got to pay rent, because it's got to live someplace. So if you look at it like that, there are so many social media platforms that can operate like a Facebook page or a private group page or
really?
Something. Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Because at that point, like Damon John would say, you may just need, a fabulous, Facebook page or a social media page or a platform or a landing page with a pay gate and forego all of the websites, because at the end of the day, they want to get the hold of you. They want to call you. They're already used to using certain platforms. When they go on your website, they're surfing, they're in a whole new world. Yes, they're used to the same interface, but they're still like,
Well, it also sounds like what you're saying is that if you do what you and Damon Johns are talking about, is that you'll get to keep all of the information. Whereas if you're on YouTube or Facebook, so like they're talking about getting rid of TikTok. So if they were to get rid of TikTok and you have all of your your customers, your products, and then they take away TikTok, now your million followers, that information you've not been able to keep it all. But if you were able to somehow capture those people onto your own platform, I don't think anybody would be upset if they got a million people, a million email addresses, and all this statistical information to do all these things that you're talking about. But that's another benefit of having your own website, is that in the event like YouTube was not to ever be in existence, or any of these people, whatever, got deregulated, you would still have your own information coming through your website, because when they come on, most of the time you're going to say, enter your email address to access, the site. So is that
right, of course. But here we go again. I don't think that they, because these platforms are private sector, government, they're not government regulated or anything. The key here is to just, you don't have to do one or the other. And to make sure that, the old saying is, don't put all your eggs in one basket,
don't do that, y'all.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and to make sure that you have their emails, almost like having their home address. Set address. So that also, and to make sure that you put your full contact information in places where they also have yours, if they want to know something, or they like an incentive or an offer or a sale you're having. The key here is to not be stuck to the best futuristic policy is to do a little bit of the old, a little bit of present, and to always dabble into something that could be possibly new.
All right.
Curve.
All right. So to help change the narrative about using artificial technology, of course, social media, and now keeping your website, show them how they can help change the narrative and keep partnering with us. All you got to do is this. Watch her. She's going to show you how to do it. Ooh, that's okay, so this is a pretty cool topic. I see people hopping in and out. We're definitely getting some likes, so we appreciate you guys' support. But before we go, I decided that I just was, me, I was sleuthing the cosmetology. We're gonna get some T-shirts, by the way, guys, called Cosmo Nerds.
Yeah, because this is a very Cosmo nerd conversation.
Yeah, barber nerds. We're not gonna forget you, barber. So we're gonna get us some barber and Cosmo nerd T-shirts and put them right here on the platform so you guys can go and order some. And of course, we're going to use all the proceeds to keep bringing you guys wonderful content. And then, of course, do exactly what we're telling you guys to do. Pay for some more advertisements. So anything that you buy, via this platform, we're going to definitely use that money to do what we're asking you guys to do. So I decided, hey, how about I just look and see what's in the news of cosmetology schools and barber schools and what have you. And I stumbled across a website. I don't own a cosmetology school, but this particular website is the American Association of Cosmetology Schools, and they have a bulletin. And so I'm just going to share with you right quick, and then sure, let's get some feedback here. What's happening? So remember, people, we know you guys are not just watching us from sunny San Diego or Cleveland, Ohio. So here is what's happening in the news. I'm going to make our screen here, Cheryl, a little bit larger just so people can see. So this is the American Association of Cosmetology Schools. And so this is the week before Easter. And so this is very current. This is not old. And this is something that people are always asking of Shirley and I. Do you guys just have a way that y'all can just put all the stuff in one location? So here is what you guys been asking. And you can, again, we got that little QR code up there. You can scan that and share that with your friends. But what they're saying right now, Cheryl, this week in the headlines, and we're talking about South Dakota, South Carolina, there's Georgia, and we're going to talk about that number 2 or that second bulletin, and Alaska. Oh boy, they're really going after us. And then you got New Jersey advances a 550-hour barbering bill, and then Utah to reduce training and experience requirements for instructors. And so as we talk about using this technology here today, let me just ask you, Cheryl, did you ever think in your career that we would be at a point where the barber and beauty, aesthetics, and nail tech industry would be, are we fighting to save what's happening? I mean, I don't even know how to say it. Did you foresee this?
Well, it's just going back to where it started. It started like this. And I think that there's a lot of ego in what we call professionalism. And because of all of the advancements, now we have professional, and the professional cosmetology and barbering world has now become so celebrity and influencer driven. And we do have a wave of this notion, because of the influencers, that you can not be professional or have a license or have these types of things, because people are now following people who don't have them. And so now what is going to happen is that now that it's deregulating, and so, I still think that there will still be a customer taste, a customer standard. I think that customers want these people to be highly skilled. The problem is that we're no longer going to be able to hide our professionalism behind a piece of paper.
Very powerful.
We're going to have to actually perform. We're going to have to start having business behavior. We're going to have really high-end offerings. We're going to have to now have our scholar raised young influencer now. And it's going to have to be performance-based. It can't just be now that you have, a license, because these people are, in the legislative body. They're getting pushed back by the lobbyists, which are being pushed back by privatization and capitalists within the beauty industry. So,
because I feel like you're going to see two worlds. I mean, this is a very quirky and maybe not even appropriate analogy, but I ain't as smart as Cheryl, so I'm gonna keep 100. Just keep it low. Let me put my microphone up. So here's what I see. I see it like, health insurance. You're going to have people who can afford it, and you're going to have people who can't. You're going to have people who can access it, and you're going to have people who can't. You're going to have people who will access it, and you're going to have people who won't. And so I think that is exactly what is going to happen. I do follow the pseudo killers, and I've often talked about how they inspire, this platform. And they are reading a book titled "The Death of expertise. And we're going to put that on our book list, which we're getting a lot of likes, by the way, for our book list. So don't forget to watch our YouTube short right here on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. And you can see our book list that we've been reading since we've started the Thursdays platform, which is on Planet Pluto Pseudo. And so she'll speak a little bit more about this expertise, because when you look at these bills, apprentice bills signed into law, and that's apprenticeships bills signed into law in Indiana and South Dakota. But on the other end, you have blow dry styling deregulation bills advanced in Georgia and South Carolina. What a big, you know, take on the industry. Two states are saying we need to get apprenticeships, and you have another two states who are saying the hell with apprenticeship. Get your asses out here and work. So this is just key Lolo, y'all. Y'all know how I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep my honey. You know.
Well, actually, it is the death of pseudoism.
Come on.
That is what deregulation now, because you have to compete with an influencer. You cannot hide behind a piece of paper anymore. And you cannot hide behind state legislative training anymore.
And then what about the influencer? Can't hide behind on the other token.
Here's the thing: the influencer now becomes competed with people who do have one up on them. They may not have one up on the person who got the 18, 16, 1500 hour license of 10 years ago, but the person who's getting the 300 to 400 now has one up on the influencer, because they do have some training. That is why you have the natural hair braiders and people now wanting a license after the deregulation process has the trend has happened within the last 10 to 15 years. So now they actually want some history. Now they actually want some science. Now they actually want, so now they are even they want one up on the influencer, and as it all evolves, so because it's actually going back to where it was in the 1920s, right before the Great Depression, and it's all going to be privatized. The key here is that the ones who do have the 1500, 1200, 16, 1800 cosmetology, barbering, and cosmetology license, what are we going to do about it? At the end of the day, the fashion industry does not make a separation of a gifted designer, and just because they didn't go to Pratt or FIT, or they didn't go to Paris and get into all of these other fine institutions, they shut up and they compete. Period.
I like it.
And you dominate in terms of finding. So in other words, just from the title of the book, Death of Expertise, the loom of expertise anyway is that you know everything. And I tell people all the time, experts are not know-it-alls.
Right. And they know that, well, some do. And we also know that expertise is definitely serving us, for after all, not for expertise, I'm sure our butts would not be on this platform, be it all this expertise that has been used, that has afforded us to be able to do this without having to be in person, for this computer to not like start smoking while I'm talking, even for me to just take the microphone and just plug it in, and guess what? It works. So we can see where expertise definitely has its place. But I do feel that on our platform, particularly Planet Pluto Pseudo, we're going to have to use this website to help address, like you said, what are we going to do? So with that being said, what we're going to do is add that question at the end of both this platform and over on Planet Pluto Pseudo, so that we can collectively address it and get the industry to start thinking, because the truth of the matter is, as much as we just don't want to admit it, I'm thinking that the cosmetology and barbering schools are probably truly going to be a thing of the past. And so we may not like it, considering this
But,
platform
but but
is
think about
for
all of the wonderful entrepreneurship that presents for Black people. I mean,
mm-hmm,
come on. You already know that you know, in terms of people of color are the best hairstylists on the planet. We get it. So stop
mm-hmm.
complaining, and whatever the opportunity affords us, we'll adjust. Like we
Yeah.
did in 1930s, we'll adjust.
Right. And that's not to say that education will not be priority one, because we don't care what happens. We still gonna rock our Afro Hair Science Summit, because we know, like she said, at the
It's
end,
gonna be more
yeah,
informative. Yeah,
at the
exactly.
end of the day, sorry for cutting you off. The public, well, my mentor said it best, and that's Ivan Williams. The marketplace will determine your success. So you either have it or you don't. The license, it definitely has its perks, but the reality is, and if you are a cosmetology school owner, please drop your comments in the chat of what do you see happening with these barber and cosmetology schools, and just the overall education, because as we can see, when you look at these, so what is this, 5 bullet points, it's looking very, very interesting. Now, we're not talking about, next year is a thing of the past, but something strange is happening, and Cheryl has given us her take on how she sees this unfolding, and even why. So I think, well, we're going to use this website, Cheryl, and we're going to do just that, and ask, what are we going to do about it, to the licensed professionals. And again, this is the American Association of Cosmetology Schools. This is open to the public, so you don't have to, you don't have to be licensed to, you know, uh, to go check that website out. So sure, as we wrap this up, we're going to come back next week. And now that we've given you guys the full Monty on AI, right? Social media and websites, we're going to talk about the biggest problems or challenges that is facing the barber and beauty industry. Get these students ready so that they can understand what else is going on, to, so you guys can be ready one way or the other. However it's going to happen, you all will be prepared to stay in this field, because I'm not just saying it because I work in it, but I am saying it because I work in it. Find this to be like the best profession in the world. So Cheryl, wrap us up with this topic, and we're going to be back here this evening with our April Fool's stuff. So Cheryl, what you got to
Hey,
say? At the end of the day, what's up with this?
right, man, it's a wealth of opportunity, and you don't necessarily have to bite off the whole enchilada, because I'm not even interested, and I find this stuff very easy, but I don't even participate in all of it. And you don't. You see what matches you. You see what feels good to you. You see what matches your time management. If you don't even have time, don't do things that you don't really have time for. If emailing and email marketing is more time conducive for you, do it on Monday. And if you want to do Sunday and just do a little reach out to clients or on social media and start, liking other of your peers and start following it, it just depends on what it is that you need to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, so
Good luck.
this is not a one size fit all, and you have 3 modalities that you can take advantage of. I'm like Cheryl, I don't use them all. I'm not on all the social media platforms. I'll throw something up on Instagram, and I like TikTok and YouTube best, and then Facebook third. But hey, like Cheryl said, go ahead on and find which one is going to work best for you. And in the meantime, we will be back next Monday at 12:30. Hey, that's the solar eclipse day. Do you have your glasses?
I'm going to get some.
So if you are a customer at the Reverence Design Team Hair Salon, we are giving them away for the free because that's what we do up in there. So get ready. We will be off in time so you can go and watch the solar eclipse. I understand you can't see it everywhere. So
No. I don't think we
no,
can see it out here.
really?
No.
Okay.
I think
Well,
it's
all of the schools.
Central and East Coast.
Okay, so all of the schools here in the greater Cleveland area are going to be closed on Mondays. So it's supposedly, it's a once in a lifetime group. It's going to be a couple of, I think they said like another 40 years before you will be able to see it again. So I would not shun the opportunity to watch it. You know me, I'm not going out there, but so do your thing. Go get your solar glasses and check them out if
Don't
you
be
need
like
a
Trump
pair.
talking about he don't need. Don't be like.
And y'all better put them glasses on. I'll be trying to be stupid out here, okay? And sticking bleach in your arms, trying to get rid of coronavirus. Y'all stop that stuff, okay? So free glasses are available at RDT Hair Salon. So we'll be back next Monday at 12:30 talking about what's the biggest problems and what we gonna do about it. That's going to be the question. And I think that's it. So thank you so much, Cheryl. It's been wonderful. It's been absolutely phenomenal. All right. So we're going to go ahead on and let me get our music going before we check up out here. All right, here it is. See you guys next Monday. So, you think you can do hair? Then join us every Monday at 12 o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel.
Tell me what you